Welcome to episode 5. It's 5 o'clock summer with Mike and Ilana. Mike couldn't make it, so we're here with Eliav Moshe, our co-founder and chief of product at Fullpath. Eliav, thanks for joining us today.
Hello, Ilana. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you as well. Today we have probably the most exciting topic that we've spoken about so far on this show, which is ChatGPT. A few weeks ago, Fullpath ChatGPT, which Eliav, you were very involved in building, went viral, which was awesome. We got a lot of attention, a lot of questions, I know, developers were really interested in how we were going about just building the tool and how we really advanced the innovation for automotive with ChatGPT. So let's talk about it. What happened? What's your favorite part about those type of situations where we can just basically show the world the power of a technology like ChatGPT and what we've done at Fullpath to really make it special for the industry, for the automotive industry. But tell us a little bit about your perspective when we went viral.
Sure. So I think first it's very important to know that ChatGPT is exciting not just inside automotive. It's exciting. It's a
Very true.
worldwide phenomenon. And every time that you mention GPT on Twitter or on an article, it draws the attention of everyone. AI experts, security experts, pen testing. Obviously, there's a lot of ethical questions on bias of algorithms and so on and so forth. What can you do with technology? So it automatically creates buzz. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter
It's a
what
headline product.
industry, and
100%.
it always goes straight to the headlines. So again, maybe it's important just to see exactly what was all the buzz around. It started with more of a joke, and like a funny thing that you would do. You would go to a chat bot and you'll just mess around with the bot. Everyone likes to do this just to test the capabilities and stretch the limits and test the boundaries of a chat bot. So if you're going to a car dealership and you're trying to talk non-automotive discussions with the bot, then you want to see how the bot is being designed, how the bot is handling those situations. So you would say something like, write me a poem, or talk like a pirate, or write me a Python script that does X and Y, or solve some really tough math questions, or something like this. And obviously, there's no harm in those things. It's not a security breach or anything like this, but it actually that draws the attention, right? Because you have some technology that is being leveraged for some business use case, and then with GPT, you're trying to deviate the conversation toward other domains, and then you want to see through that you're trying to do some reverse engineering or to get a better familiarity and better understand the technology and how it works, how it's being designed. There are a lot of experts around the globe that every time that someone in the community is releasing a tool, everyone is going just to study. This is like where we gather information. This is how we all get better. But when you take something and you take it out of context and you put it on Twitter, obviously you can start this whole excitement. So one tweet to another, and then more people. I can tell you that after a couple of hours, probably thousands of GPT experts were coming to that site just to play with and try to create more scenarios and expand a little bit, try to we call this pen testing. It's penetration testing. This is more of a security. So again, security experts, and now people are trying to assess the technology. It was interesting. It was fun. It was fun to see those attempts. I think what's important
Fun to
is
see them not succeed, I'm sure.
Exactly, and I would say again, it goes to how you design your technology, because there are things that when you're working, especially if I'm focusing on GPT, if you're working with GPT, you need to know how to architect your software in order to know exactly what technology you're using and when. So, for example, when you're dealing with GPT, because it is generative AI in a sense that the system will generate content. So you're unable to control all factors all the time.
Right.
So obviously, this is technology that you want to take, that you want to use with care, and you need to know exactly where and when to use it, when and where to apply the technology. So, for example, you never connect databases to a GPT. It's just not connected. It lives in a whole different zone, and in order to prevent data leak. So it
Yeah.
doesn't matter how much you try to break to GPT, how many conversation you are in GPT, you will be only talking about data that you have decided that you want to talk about. So anything that you're willing to expose, only that you will be sending to GPT. It goes to PII, right? You don't want to expose PII. You don't want to expose your algorithms. You don't want to connect databases and so on and so forth. So again, it goes into a good architecture and knowing the technology that you're dealing with, and then you can build a service that is protected. So this is why I'm saying it's exciting. It's obviously the bot was handling all those conversations really nicely. Obviously, you always need to make improvements, and we're improving every day. And it was really fun to see 5,000 experts of the world going and hardening your technology. There's definitely a lot that we've learned, and it happens all the time, and we're learning from every excitement in the market. We're also going to other technologies to learn from them. So it is really thrilling to be in that environment. But yeah, I would say it goes to the fundamentals of how you develop good software.
Yeah, and I think what you said about it's generative AI, so we can't necessarily control it. I think that's really interesting turning point for technology in automotive, because on the one hand, dealers want to have the technology that gives the best customer service and has the most innovative, tech so that they can compete with Amazon and the dealership down the street. But also, how can you do that? How can you do that without having something mimic humans? We can't control humans, right? So Sean Western, who's one of our big clients, Quark Automotive, who we have he's all about testing any product that we put out there, which is why we have such a great relationship with him. But when this was all happening, I was asking him, what do you think? And he said something really smart, which was like, if someone comes into my dealership and is talking to a salesperson and they start talking about Harry Potter, I do not expect that my salesperson will be limited to talk about just the inventory we have on the lot. There has to be that back and forth. And this technology, you can ask them things on the website that aren't necessarily about the inventory, and they're going to answer because it's generative AI. And yes, we can't control it, but let's give the best customer service. Let's entertain our customers and shoppers and make sure that they can get what they want. So that was just a really interesting point of view from Sean that I thought was, just like ties into a little bit of what you were talking about with the generative AI and how really we can't necessarily control all of it. But there are, I think, the most important parts, which is security. You have to make sure that you disconnect the data so that it really is a secure database for our clients.
Right. I think, again, generative AI is a change in paradigm in how we see computer software or computer-based solutions, because we are used to think about computers on one side of the equation, and then you have another side where human beings, and there are characteristics to each one of them. So computers are deterministic. You know how to design them. You can set the rules. You can set exactly what is going to be the output in certain circumstances. And generative AI changes computers to be more human-like. So you can give them real-life conversations, and they will react to the situation. So it's truly generating something that you didn't know before. This is why it was mind-blowing to see ChatGPT when they just launched it back in late 2022, to see even GPT-3, and now we're in 4.5 and more versions to come. It is mind-blowing to see how computers can mimic human behavior. And I think that over here, similarly, if you're leveraging this technology for your businesses, then we need to change our perspective, because the computer is not just a calculator anymore. It's more of an agent. I'm hiring an employee, and I'm doing an onboarding with an employee, and I'm training my employee, and I'm giving my employee feedback. So if an employee made whatever decision they made in the business, and whether I liked it or didn't like it, and I'm giving that feedback and I'm training that employee, now I'm growing, I'm nurturing my business. And similarly, this is the change in philosophy in the software that we're going to be dealing with in the coming year or 2 years and going forward, that computers now have that ability of, you can literally talk to the computer and just say more of an instruction. It's not code anymore. You can just say, I would like you to say this. I would like you to focus on that. And I think this is a change in paradigm that's really important for definitely car dealerships, but everyone is dealing with technology, just to be aware of that change. This is why it's so revolutionary, the whole generative. I think taking one example, and again going to what you said before, take a car dealership. Let's say that they're selling a Chevy, right? A Chevy franchise, and they're selling new inventory for Chevy. But they're also selling used inventory. So if someone is coming to the store and asking, what is the difference between that new Chevy and that used Subaru that you have on the lot, you would expect your salesperson to give them the best advice for that shopper, or maybe taking into account also other considerations of the dealership, obviously. But you would like them, you would train most probably your sales team to focus on the customer and serve the customer to the best of their ability and make a good suggestion. Why? Because your brand is important, your inventory managing important, but most of all, your customer important. And so they may end up advising them to go for the Subaru and not for the Chevy, because in this case, the right decision or the right recommendation for the customer would have been to take the Subaru or the Ford or whatever, even though you are a Chevy franchise.
Yep, 100%.
Right. So similarly, you would see those things with GPT, right? It's just an agent. It recommends and it takes into account the parameters and the conversation and the need, and then it will it will steer the conversation. Obviously, you can control the technology, so you can instruct the employee, or you can instruct your GPT to say, always try to go for selling new vehicles. It's totally legit instruction, right? So you can control the conversation, but obviously you would like to leave that room of flexibility. There are maybe cases that you don't want necessarily to sell the new vehicle. Sometimes you want to sell the used vehicle. So again, a change in paradigm, change in how we work with technology,
Changing how we think
non-deterministic technology.
So I guess I'll ask the obvious last question here. Is it going anywhere, or is this here to stay? Is this technology here to stay? Is this the next evolution of AI that, it might feel like there are some challenges with it now, but obviously that's the cost of innovation. Do you think this will go transform into something completely different, stay on this route, or are we going to forget about this in a year?
So the answer is definitely it doesn't go anywhere. It's here to stay.
I would tend to agree.
But I would say it is not an automotive specific decision, or automotive is not going to dictate what's going to be the role of GPT inside automotive, because we are living in an ecosystem. Similar to how whether I'm marketing on Google or not, yes or not, is not an automotive specific decision, right? If you have something in marketing and the worldwide is going and advertising in certain places, or if certain technologies are being applied to consumers around the globe, then those worldwide trends and worldwide advancements of technology are then being deployed or applied to our every aspect of our life. So I would expect to see GPT on education, on business, on transportation, and yes, also on inside automotive, specifically when it comes to marketing. We see all the giants putting all the coins, all the efforts, all the resources heavily on GPT. So yes, we should definitely expect to see more and more GPT-based solutions, generally speaking, and also in automotive specifically.
All right. Well, we're here for it. Thank you so much, Eliav. It was really nice interviewing you. You obviously know this like the back of your hand, so you're welcome to come and talk about AI, GPT anytime you want. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure.